Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we'll be talking about a very potentially powerful snowstorm. And it will have a severe weather side, though it shouldn't be too significant. It will have a very heavy rain side and a cold side with that snow and potentially lots of frosts, freezes. So definitely something to talk about. If you guys enjoy these type of videos, consider subscribing to this channel and consider liking the video. Obviously watch the video first, see for yourself if you enjoy this channel and if it's something you would consider watching. And then aside from this snowstorm and this cool blast of air that will pass through very quickly, very warm temperatures are on their way. Potentially a heat wave. All right, let's get into this. So first off, I want to start off by looking at the National Weather Service map, right? So notice that's what we have pulled up right now. And you can see that we have a lot of these blues across the Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio area. And that is as a result of freeze watches. It's going to get very cold. But first, this snowstorm has to pass through. And it really won't be a snowstorm up until you get into these locations, into portions of Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont. And you can see that's where it starts picking up some intensity. And the snow will continue into Canada. So if you live on this other side of Canada, you will be seeing, or on the other side of the border into Canada, you will be seeing quite a bit of heavy snow, especially you can see just north of these locations. 9, 10, 11 inches, definitely a possibility. And then notice flood watches, flood warnings. If you recall, they had so much rain here previously, right? Just a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to get kind of inundated again. So the threat is much higher than it typically would be for this time of the year. Or not for this time of the year, just in general, with a 1.5-inch rainfall event that usually isn't enough to prompt flash flood watches. However, with this stuff, with the ground being overly saturated, it is. Notice we have some high wind warnings and watches. Okay, let's start off by looking at the new model, new run of the GFS. And notice, right, we have precipitation already developing across the, really just east of Chicago, Illinois, into Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, all those locations, Mississippi. We'll be seeing some thunderstorms, some rain. Notice that is a potential for a bit of some stormy weather. Nothing too severe, really. Really, I don't think they even have it enhanced. I think it's just a slight risk. But again, a severe storm is a severe storm. Even if it's a slight chance, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So there's a slight chance for that, but mainly heavy rain. This doesn't look like a powerful event, right? Powerful snowstorm. What it did do, you could see previously, this moisture is being brought up in the first place from the Gulf of Mexico, because there usually has to be some sort of magnet that kind of brings it up out of the Gulf of Mexico. So the main reason why this is forming right now, if you're to scroll down with this, come on, shoot, I need to get this. There we go. So we had a very strong low pressure, dropped pretty good amounts of snow across central Manitoba, Saskatchewan, into portions of Ontario. And this thing was so far to the north, and that's why it was not really bringing any precip to the upper Midwest. It was cut off from the Gulf. However, eventually, it got into the warm sector of an air mass, right? And you can see that's a baroclinic zone, very strong winds. That kind of brings some of this moisture up. And look what happens. This is our 7 p.m. into tonight, right? Tomorrow, right? This is, now this is at, looking at now at midnight today, and you can see the moisture continues to get drawn up. We start seeing some light snow occur across Canada. Not the snowstorm that everybody is talking about, or the one that's this video is about. Just a bit of light snow. But look what happens here. This precipitation stalls out, and it sits there for a while. But we see a speed max across a jet stream, and associated with that, we see quite a bit of rain develop, and that kind of shoots to the north and east with that jet stream. And notice that once that happens, this is now into Thursday, so this is already April 1st. And look what happens. Right there, boom, just an extreme intensification and explosion of some snow, some rain, pretty heavy rain across the northeast coast. And look at that, Pennsylvania, upstate New York, even just large portions of even, say, Pennsylvania, maybe even Philadelphia, seeing some snow showers towards the end. And look at that, as this pushes into Canada, into Quebec, right, the mouth of the St. Lawrence River, as it spills into the Atlantic Ocean. Look at that, very, very heavy snow, strong winds, and very cold air behind this. You can see that it spills all the way down to the south, and that's why we have those freeze watches up, because you can see behind this system, the jet stream does a swivel, and what we see is, right, we see this cold air right now centered across the southern Canada area, and right now that cold air is centered across southern Canada after that snowstorm passed through. But notice that the jet stream, what it does is essentially it dips down to the south, right? So we have this large winter storm that develops, explodes right here, low pressure starts spinning, and that triggers the cold air to go very far to the south, which is why these warnings and watches are all up. So let's take a look at this again, just looking at the cold air now. You can see there's our rain event, there's our snowstorm, and look at that, boom, right there. We see this cold air dip very, very far to the south, freezing line all the way potentially into South Carolina. So I know a lot of people have started their plants, their crops, right? And some people even maybe brought it outside. I've seen some people already bring them outside as north as Michigan, right? And I think that is definitely something that was risky. And, you know, if you do have your plants, be prepared, because these type of things aren't really unusual. April 1st, 25, 24-degree temperatures across much of the Great Lakes. That's not a record. That's not an anomaly. There's been much colder temperatures in April, right? So notice that this comes through, and look at that. We see very, very chilly temperatures that could definitely fry, say, tomato plants, squash of any kind. Even as far south as, say, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, you know, the pumpkin plants, 34 degrees, and they're already frostbitten. So just stay aware of that through this Thursday and Friday. But look at what happens afterwards, right? So Friday night, still very cold across the United States. But then look what happens here. Into Saturday, right? Easter, into Sunday, Easter weekend, we see a very, very warm temperatures across much of the United States, excluding the Northeast, where that snowpack is still kind of aiding with that cold air. And if you're to push this even further forward, I just want to show you, it gets hot. Downright hot across a good portion of the United States. Look at that. 80, 70, right? That's not really hot to the south, for the south, you know, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, but it is hot for the Michigan, southern Canada area. Right, and notice that that is, you know, a huge warm-up. Look at that, across the East Coast, New York, 74 right there, and this continues for a while. Now, there will be some pushbacks from the cold air, as you can see, pushing back, but it's nothing extraordinary, and it still remains above average with the warm temperatures, you know, being definitely favored. And in terms of how the simulated radar may look, right, so what's to come? Well, let's just go over this. So this first storm that we have going on right now is more of a snowstorm. So that's definitely something that's not really too big of a severe weather maker. It could have the potential to do so, but it won't, as a Storm Prediction Center doesn't see any really signs of severe weather with this system, at least high amounts. And you can see that pushes off. But with that heat and all that heat wave activity, right, look what we see. Clusters of storms starting late weekend into early next week. So right around this time next week, we start seeing storm clusters, not just in the south, in the upper plains, Midwest. The temperatures will be supportive of that. And you can see we see some snow, scattered thunderstorms, probably some hail. Hail in April is very common, especially in La Nina years. And notice that that continues, right? These little swirls. We do see maybe some more organized rain events, but definitely something to watch for the upper plains next week. Those little thunderstorm clusters, that could definitely be something to note for in terms of severe weather or organized thunderstorms. Okay, total snowfall, those snowstorm folks that are getting impacted by it, right? You can see pretty significant. This is from a separate system that GFS shows much later on, but this is more likely to occur. As I said, this system will intensify as it moves away from the U.S. Look at that, into southern Canada, right? Really still bordering the U.S. We already see 1 foot plus amounts, and then up here, potentially 30, 40 inches of snow. Inches, not centimeters, right? So 30 inches is over 30, 80 centimeters of snow. And if you're to take a look at Canada, so we could actually have a closer look at this, southeastern Canada, you could see this is now in centimeters. Very, very high amounts. Again, 70, 85. A huge event for those locations for sure. And I do want to say that other models like the Canadian, let's just take it through hour 132. So it includes only this snowstorm. You can see includes very similar story. Heavy amounts, up to 30 centimeters across the New York area, so around up to 1 foot of snow for those locations in terms of centimeters. In terms of inches. And then this is the continental United States. You can see really focusing on the Northeast and southeastern Canada. In terms of total precipitation, Let's take a glance at this. You can see decent amounts. Again, focus towards the eastern and potentially Great Lakes area, especially with that heat wave. We can see those thunderstorms kind of spawn. Notice that this is what the Canadian thinks will happen, how the storm will evolve. You can see definitely a bigger rain event out of the Canadian model, and definitely a snowstorm that's already more organized as it pushes into the northeast. Look at that. Quebec, Toronto, maybe Montreal, Ottawa seeing pretty good amounts of snow. The cold air diving very far to the south, even further south than what the GFS is showing. But notice, there we go. There's our system, and it, that cold air abates, and we see very warm air. Look at that 32-degree line pushing well into Canada, and that maintains itself for a while. And actually, the Canadian keeps it there for a bit longer than what the GFS does. I do want to show you a few more models, say like the NAM12AM, just with the snowstorm forecast for the northeast, just to show you how much it's showing. You can see definitely decent amounts, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 inches. I would not say it's out of the question, especially the further you go towards Canada. Here's a RDPS, not bad. There will be some lake effect snow showers, by the way, off of Michigan, so that's something to watch for. Maybe even Cleveland, Erie picking up a few inches of snow of lake effect. And HRDPS is a decent model that goes out 48, so it just clips the first half of the system, not showing the full extent into Canada. I do want to show you the European model still. And if you're to take a look at the Euro, which is a very good model, a lot of folks think it's the best model. Right, there's our system. You can see on Pivotal Weather. It's easier to see. There's our first system, or our system, the snowstorm, that the first part of it dropped very heavy snow across Canada, and now it's starting to extend its moisture upwards. You can see it was moisture dead for a long time. It was just spitting off of the moisture it had from the Pacific Ocean, and then look, we have this cold front that gets dragged up, very heavy rain potential, and then look, there's our snowstorm again, pretty heavy snow, very strong winds for it, not that strongly developed low pressure. However, you can see it's pretty much surrounded by high pressures, right? There's a high pressure right here, creating the contrast of very strong winds, another high pressure to the north, so definitely some blizzard conditions in that snow, and nasty conditions with that rain, nasty, sideways rain. And then afterwards, you can see the European calms things down, maybe pivots a bit of snow onto Maine, right? But nothing too serious. And look what we start getting. These little thunderstorm clusters, again, very similar to what the other models are showing. At this point, it's very warm here. I'll show you the temperature anomalies in just a second. And you can see the rain, right, pushes very far to the north, indicative of the rain snow line being pretty far to the north. Very, very warm conditions. 2-meter temperatures. Let's take a glance, right, and notice there's our cool down. Pretty intense, I would say. You can see 22, Chicago, Detroit 25, Green Bay 22, 21, Minneapolis 22, St. Louis around 30, right? So definitely cold. And then for Friday night, it's also going to be chilly across just further to the east. But then look, Sunday, right? Saturday, this is now into Monday. Very, very, very warm into Tuesday. Even warmer, right? Wednesday, Friday. Look at that. Or sorry, but I just went from Wednesday to Friday. Look at Wednesday. Absolutely incredible temperatures right there. That is 76 in Chicago, almost 80s. Des Moines, Omaha 78, Wichita around 85. Texas just getting very hot. You'll be begging for that polar vortex to come back after these temperatures stick around there for a while. Look at that, 97 in some locations. So thunderstorms will have absolutely no problem spawning in this type of heat. So that is basically it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We got a lot of exciting weather on our way, and hopefully you will maintain your contact with this channel. All right, thank you guys. See ya.